I'm in a very interesting, what I consider an interesting situation. I got made redundant almost 12 months ago now from a position that I was really enjoying. And prior to that, I had been running my own event management business. And I decided I didn't really want to go back into events, but I wanted to do something that gave me the freedom and the flexibility that running your own business did. So I'm in the process of setting up a virtual assistant business where I'll do not just events, but also admin and membership management. A friend of mine said I'm really providing an integrated management service, but I don't like that term. I spend my time between Bega and Canberra, where I've been based for the last far too many years. I think it's 30 now. My mother is still in the valley. I grew up here, and I want to spend more time with her while she's still in a fit state of health and mind to enjoy spending time with me. So that's about me in a nutshell.
Thank you, Beth. I actually will go along and just mute other people's microphones for now, just so we don't get any background noise. Thank you, Bev. Cheryl, you're up next.
I'm up next. Okay, yeah. Right. Well, I'm Cheryl Toole. I'm based here in Cooma. My association with Andy, I call him Pom. We're school friends from way back. Anyway, I work full-time for Essential Energy. However, my husband has a small building business here in Cooma, and I want to free up my spare time and not feel, I just feel that I'm hijacked by this business, that I've got to be about at the end of every month to do our monthly FAS, and I just feel it's tying me down. It's enough working full-time without having that hanging over me all the time. So I've been watching Tom for many years, living his life, and thought, well, if he can do it, it's got to be good for me. I've got grandchildren now, and my spare time that I have, I want to spend with them. So this is a really good opportunity for me to sort of be free with my time and keep my husband's bookwork up to date and still have a nice life.
Awesome.
So that's me in a nutshell.
Thanks, Sarah. Okay, Karen. Karen,
which one?
Oh, sorry, Karen Willis.
Okay.
So
obviously,
I'm going down my list on the right hand. Sorry, what I can see on my list is whoever.
Well, I'm glad you can see it.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Karen, obviously Andy's sister, based in Bali. I've been running retreats, fitness-based retreats up here in Bali for quite a few years. I've bounced back and forth. I used to work in the fashion industry. And now I'm just launching a new business called Sharing Bali and Beyond, and I'm starting trips in a few less travel places such as Timor-Leste and the French Alps, and partnering up with one of my trainers to do some trips in Fiji. So my laptop is my life. Everything in there, our business revolves around it. My weakness is technology. If you could see out my window now, you could see that I'm surrounded by rice fields. I live in a tiny little village. So I need all the help that I can to keep me global and to keep me connected and to get my business out there. So Andy has saved my tech life many, many times, but I'm looking forward to this community. I love collaborating. My business model has always been based on partnership and collaboration. So I'm looking forward to learning lots, not just about the tech side of things, but about business and sharing as well through the community.
Awesome. Thank you. Now we can, Karen Lotz.
Hi everybody, nice to meet you all. Yes, I'm Karen Lott. I have a local produce store and cafe, Sprout Eden, which is 5 years old on the 20th of December. I came to Andy earlier this year, having seen him present at a workshop in Bega the year before, I think it was. I wanted to go overseas for a couple of months, but I knew I needed to get some tools happening to enable me to do that. So I worked with Andy for a couple of months, and my eyes were opened, and yeah, I was intending going for 2 months. I ended up staying 3, and that was very much down to the tools that Andy taught me. yeah, I've still got lots to learn. Some of the things you showed me in those early days I haven't taken on board yet, but I know that they will also help my journey. And again, just collaborating with other people, sharing the knowledge and sharing hints and tips is always so beneficial.
Fantastic. Karen is a great example of what can be done. A bricks and mortar business, and popping over to Europe for 2 months and staying for 3. I love that story. I'll ask Linda. Linda's come to us as a guest today, but Linda, share.
My name is Linda Mayo. I currently work for Bega Valley Regional Learning Centre as the coordinator here, but finishing up soon and moving on to Apprenticeship Support Australia, which will be fun. My role there will be very much as a remote worker and spending a lot of time in the car and on the road and relying very heavily upon technology. My partner and I at home are also in the process of starting a small business, which again, he will be working on the road and it will be very heavily dependent upon technology. So Andy and his knowledge is invaluable.
Thanks, Linda. And last but not least, we have our newest member, Mia, who actually I met with just on Monday, and very happy that she joined straight up and joined us on this call, which is fantastic. Hey, Mia.
Hi everyone, and thanks Andy. Yeah, I actually started following Andy around digitally, or virtually I should say, before I moved to this area. So I moved to this area in June this year after living down the Mornington Peninsula in Victoria. I've been brought to this area because I love the ocean, I love the lifestyle. I have 2 little boys and 2 little dogs, and so we just wanted to have a lifestyle where we could juggle our work commitments as well as enjoy everything that life has to offer. I actually started my own business about 8 years ago. After having my first son. I was working in the corporate world, living a very busy overseas life where I was juggling a new marriage, and went overseas every few months and realised I just couldn't do that anymore. And so once I started my own business, I then realised that that was great, except that the children got in the way. So I really needed to set myself up to be able to work from anywhere. And so a lot of my work is done from anywhere from a park to a play centre to nippers to the edge of a sporting oval, whatever it is. So I really have had to build up lots of systems, lots of processes. However, I always know that I can improve, and it was like a breath of fresh air coming in contact with Andy and discussing some new strategies, because you can get very stuck in a rut when you're working on your own. And I do marketing for small businesses, and also have worked with very large corporate firms as well. And with marketing, a lot of it's around communication. So I have to keep my communication very clear, and my processes very clear, and have a lot of project management that I need to do to be able to roll out any campaign. So I'm very excited that I can bring all of the tools together. I've been madly getting online and trying to learn everything that Andy's already introduced me to, and look forward to hearing more about how you're all using it and learning some new techniques from you all as well. So, hi.
Thanks, Mia. Awesome. Okay, so moving right along, because we do want to try and keep this. I did set aside an hour, but I'm hoping that we won't go through the full hour, because I know everyone's quite busy. I do actually have some case studies today that were good/bad timing, and but they're really good case studies to showcase why you should actually use the cloud. And I know many of you are already using the cloud, but I think these are 2 real life situations that's very much worth discussion in this forum today. So I would like to ask Linda if Linda would like to share a situation that she had, and then we'll have some discussion around that situation. So I'll just unmute Linda. And Linda, thank you so much for actually being willing to share this situation, because it is quite very much a sensitive situation. So I'll just let you explain what happened.
Sure, thanks, Andy. So in the process of clearing out my office here, I took my laptop, which is like my backup laptop. I've had it for 15 years. It's an old laptop, but it still works fine. And on that laptop is every photo, every video, every job application, every sensitive document, every piece of my life that I've wanted to hang on to over the last 15 years was stored on it. And it's spent its last 15 years locked in a filing cabinet, either here or in a house in Canberra or wherever. But because I was cleaning out my office, it happened to be in my car. And with it was the laptop that's my working laptop, the one that I, use on a daily basis. So the two laptops have never, ever been in the same place together at the same time before. It was a complete one-off. Got to Canberra Friday night a couple of weeks ago. My house in Canberra is actually, it's quite remote. It's down a long driveway. People don't tend to wander down the driveway. My car was parked right at the front door, a metre from my front door. I have security cameras. I've got, security lights, blah, blah, blah. The car was locked. And some lovely soul decided to break into my car and stole both my laptops.
Wow.
And away goes my life. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and what happened there was the only backup that you had for your photos was in that car. So you
correct. Yeah. Complete one-off. Never been together before.
Okay. Now to qualify this, I am meeting with Linda hopefully tomorrow to see if some of that information was backed up to the cloud, and hopefully some of it was. But the point of this is, and thank you for sharing that, Linda. I know it's really tough. We all have our digital life, or our photos these days are all digital. So wherever we store those photos is the same as we used to store our material, our hard copy photos in photo albums and various other places. And if there was a house fire or those photo albums got lost, we lost all our memories. And it's absolutely no different now with our digital photos. Not many people these days actually have hard copies. We all have digital copies. They're all stored in various different places, from your laptop to your phone to external storage devices. But the problem is with having them just in those places, you might think you've got them on your laptop and an external drive, and that's all safe. As Linda's described, if something happens to both of those devices, then you still lose anything. I've had an external storage device that had a malfunction and lost a whole heap of files too. So if you have a loss of those devices or a malfunction of those devices, even you lose all of those photos, and the same goes whether it's files as well, but you're losing all of your memories. Whereas if you had everything, and I mean everything, backed up to the cloud, yes, if you lose a laptop or your laptop malfunctions, you have to buy a new laptop, but you do not lose your memories. So I'll just share a screen because there are other benefits around that too. So bear with me while I do that. And hopefully... okay, sorry. So everyone can see that screen, I'm hoping. Welcome, we've done that. Agenda, introductions, case study, lots of photos. So the reasons why I believe everything should be stored in the cloud is if you do have a loss of photos or a malfunction of a device, or you lose a device, you will not lose your photos. Other benefits as well as that are you can access your photos from any device. So if you have photos stored on a laptop and then you've uploaded them to the cloud, you're out and about and you want to show someone your photos on your phone, you can do that because you can access them on your phone or any other device for that particular reason. It does actually also gives you the opportunity to free up space on your devices. So if you run out of space on your mobile phone or your laptop, you can just, if you've got your photos stored in the cloud, you can delete them off those devices and still know you have access to them. The other thing is you can easily share your photos with friends rather than sharing, emailing files or attach photos to emails. You can actually share just with a link, or you can share a whole album or a whole folder with people. So not only can you share, but you can also allow other people to access or add to those photo albums. So without showing you how all that works, I will definitely be creating a course around how all that works. I think the main point here is just the importance of doing that, and that is making sure that you do have, whether it's, I of course prefer and recommend Google Drive because it works with everything else, Google and a lot of the other tools that I share with this community, but even if it's something else, whether it's iCloud, Dropbox or whatever, the bottom line is make sure that you do have them backed up and stored in the cloud as well as on devices. So I'm happy to open, I'll just unmute everyone there and ask if anyone does have any questions, any challenges to why or why not, why you should do that.
Just do you actually like to access them? Do you have to be online?
Okay.
Like, given that we have such crappy internet service all over the place.
Yep.
Karen Willis would probably have a
Oh, yes.
But, you know, do we have to be online? That sort of boils down to access the Google Drive or the photos, or how does that work?
Okay, so that is actually a really good question. And the answer to that question is you have the choices. So when you're uploading photos, files, whatever to the cloud, you can choose to also leave those photos either on whether it's your phone or your laptop, and have access to some of them offline. Okay, so you get the best of both worlds. You get the choice to say make these photos or this album available offline, so it then also saves it to your particular devices. But what happens then if something happens to that device? You still have them. But if you're out and about and you do have access to the internet, and you've got a photo on your laptop, but you've got it in Google Drive and you've just got your mobile phone, you just go online, look up the album, and you've got access to that photo. So to answer a question, you don't have to be online, although both now and in the future, our world is just going to be continually online, and this will all improve. But yeah, to answer your question in short, you don't have to be online, but you have options there.
So it's when you're uploading them as such, then you choose whether it's available on or off.
Oh, you can choose. So I'm just going to plug my theory. You can choose at any time. You can go into Google Drive at any time, or Google Photos at any time, and choose what you want online and offline. Of course, when you do initially upload them, you need to be online to upload them to the cloud.
Yeah.
But you can upload them to your computer or your mobile phone, and you can actually set it up so that your mobile phone photos automatically upload to Google Photos. You can choose to just upload when you've got Wi-Fi, so it's not using all your data. So when you're out and about with your phone taking photos, and then you come home and you're connected to the Wi-Fi, it'll automatically synchronize it up to the cloud, so which puts it up to the cloud and actually secures your photos if something was to happen to your device.
I hear what you're saying with that, Cheryl, because I have variable access to the internet, but my whole business and life is completely dependent upon imagery. And I have a wonderful library of photos, some of which are trapped in a time machine backup of my previous Apple computer, which I'm struggling with. But my tip on what I've learned is, it's like when we used to organize our filing cabinets. I actually have to put in a lot more time up front to organise my photographs. I could probably spend the rest of my life tagging and filing and folding, putting into folder my photos, and life would be much easier. But I do now have a system, because I have an online offline life, that I do allocate upfront some folders of photographs which I use on a regular basis, so I don't get into that distressed level of the internet bombing on me when I'm trying to work something up. And it's really quite it's just like organizing your filing cabinet, which ones are easier to get at. So I absolutely have to live an online and offline world. So it's good to know that we can have the best of both, and I highly recommend it if you've got dodgy internet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a situation where I've had things backed up and my backup drivers parked it too. So I've been there, done that. So desperately need to get all stuff saved safely.
We'll definitely be working on that, Cheryl.
So,
Has anyone else got any views, comments, questions?
Probably just going to sound really dumb, but is there some way you can peek to see that it's definitely up on the cloud, just to make sure it's really working?
That's not a really dumb question. There's no such thing as a dumb or silly question. No, you can check to, yes, you can see that it's been uploaded online easily. There's various methods for that, but it's quite easy to make sure that it has been uploaded, because you can. Well, one method is just go online and see that it's in your online Google Photos album. But yeah, there are other ways of seeing to make sure that it's all there. But it probably goes back to what Karen was saying, and something that I need to get better at too, and that is continually organising as you go. So my photos automatically go up to Google Photos from my phone, and I take a fair few photos, and it's a matter of going in there and grouping them into albums as you go and deleting at the same time. So it just makes life easier. And while you're doing that, of course, you're checking to make sure that everything's been uploaded. And then once you do that, you can actually free up space on your phone and continue on with life, and not run out of room on your phone. So yes, you can check, Karen.
And just further to that, when we started working together, I think you had some hesitation about Google Photos because I'm an Apple user and everything's in my Apple Photos. Are you suggesting that it might be beneficial to put everything into Google Photos now?
That's, I suppose, my first preference is whatever you do, make sure it's somewhere in the cloud. Depending on how the rest of your life's going, and I know you do use a bit of Google stuff, it possibly won't hurt to have them in Google Photos as well. So you've got everything, all your tools and all your data within the Google sort of suite to make life easier. But as long as you've got them somewhere in the cloud. But yeah, and it's not too hard to also put them in Google to synchronize them to Google Drive as well. So that may come down to personal choice. Okay. Any other questions on that?
Andy, I've got a question. It's a bit of a silly question, but I've always stayed away from any cloud-based storage because I'm certainly, no paparazzi are trying to get hold of photos of me or anything like that. But I was concerned about the security of things floating around in clouds.
Yeah, and I suppose my answer, it's always a discussion point, that one. The answer to that one is, though, that none of these organisations, none of these companies would have a business if they weren't secure. The security is getting better, and it's guaranteed better security that we can provide on our own laptops or our own phones, because they spend and they have a hell of a lot more resources to secure everything They have 256-bit security. They have all sorts of security that they continually spend resources on to make sure it's secure, because, like I said, they wouldn't have a business without it. So my answer to that is it's more secure in the cloud than it is on your mobile phone, because people
It's more
can
secure
see,
than my laptop.
yes, at the moment. So yeah, nothing's totally secure, but all these companies spend an enormous amount of resources on security. I can also show you how to use something called two-step authentication. I struggle with that word, to make it even more secure. So yeah, like I said,
Linda, I got over that point when I was buying my latest Apple computer, and the sales guy explained to me, he was a real tech dude, that the level of security they have on obviously the iCloud Apple was similar to military sort of organizations. And he spat out this incredible amount of data to me, and he absolutely had me sold on it. And I thought, okay, you've got me now. How they change their passcodes every, I don't know, few minutes or something like that. But it was like at a military level that their security, that he was relating it to. And after that sort of discussion, I was like, okay, Karen, leave it to people who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and further on that, probably the most insecure part for most people is the passwords they use to get into their Google Drive. And that's why if you use a password manager like LastPass and generate really secure passwords that you can't even remember, and you don't have to because you're using a password manager, that is where most accounts get hacked. It's from, my dog's name 123, and my birthday, 1234, things like that. So it does come down to more chance of getting hacked through people's personal choice than these tools.
So just on that, as a bit of a sideline, should we be running an antivirus type thing on our phones, or does that happen in the background?
Most phones should have antivirus there on them as well, which is quite a separate thing apart from securing Google Drive, but that's more or less about virus protection. Yeah, there are mobile phone virus protection apps you can get, and most phones should have them.
They're already on there. We don't need to be downloading them like we are on our laptops, are we, or not?
Well, you have to check. I've actually got. I think I've got I've got my antivirus on my phone, the same one that's on my laptop, because a lot of the antivirus programs do cover your phone as well with an option. Okay. If we've got no more questions on that, I might move on. Is everyone happy if we move on with that? Is everyone happy that that's given you a good reason to think about making sure you actually secure your photos?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. And of course, I'm happy to help people do that. So we'll move right along, and the next one is very related to this, and it's a case study on inbox overload, and it is relative to both files and photos. But I'll just ask Karen to share her little experience with people sharing photos with us. So, Karen, I'll let you explain. That's easiest, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
So I'm writing some books. Well, my dog is writing some books at the moment. I'm co-authoring with him. And I had to put a call out to all of my clients asking for some photographs, because I had another story. I'd lost access to a lot of my photos, but I also knew that a lot of my clients would like to share their photos with me, because all of my little books are usually about collaboration. So I put a call out and asking for people to send me in photographs. And wouldn't you know, as much as I gave them the option to well, first of all, I had to ask Andy, how do I do this? Because I couldn't bear the thought of my inbox being flooded. And most importantly, I needed high resolution photographs. So what happens today is everybody is very quick to share photographs with you via Facebook. And that is the quickest, easiest thing that everybody likes to do. You lose all the resolution. So I was after high res. So Andy suggested that, I set up a Google album for people to share them to. But as it was, so many people did send it via attachments to my inbox. And my inbox just became overloaded because there was, and it literally had a meltdown because for other reasons, I have low storage on my inbox. So it was a little bit of a trauma. And because of my poor internet, it actually caused great chaos. It blocked all other emails coming in, etc., etc. I turned into quite a little bit of a mess. So I guess people were doing things that was quick and suited them. But if you want to manage high resolution photos, you can't do it via Facebook, which is what most people prefer to do. So I got there in the end, but I did need the help to be able to set up that shareable sort of album for people to get started.
Wonderful. Yeah, thanks, Karen. And I suppose that what I wanted to touch on there is it's what is easy versus what you know. So as Karen mentioned, what was easy for everybody was just to attach a photo to an email, because that's what they knew, that's what they were comfortable with, that's what they've always been done. It wasn't necessarily the easiest way, because sharing a photo via a shared album is, which I'll show you in a minute, is just as easy, even easier. So what happens is, say Karen had 50 people sending her a 10 megabyte file. That's easy for each individual to actually attach a 10 megabit file to an email. It only takes 10 megabytes of their inbox, basically, and then it goes to Karen. But if 50 people done that, that meant that Karen was getting 500 megabytes of information into her inbox in Indonesia that has really poor internet, especially when you're in a village. And as Karen said, it then blocked up her inbox. So what was easy for everybody else, because everybody's busy, becomes a really big problem for someone else. And what everyone else thought was the easy way wasn't necessarily the easy way, but it's what they knew best. So I just wanted to give you an example, if I can share my desktop, which I have, on I wanted to show you how, or the difference, if I can just, hang on, get to my, I'll just open up my inbox. The difference between sharing a file or a photo using email and adding it to an album. So just wait for this to load up, sorry. If you had that open, but it's hiding. So if we wanted to share a photo by email, we'd simply open up our email and we'd compose a new email. We have to put the recipient in there, and then we need to attach a file. So we click on attach and we attach some pictures. If I open my pictures folder there, and then we'd simply attach 3 photos, and we'd send that email off. It would then take some time in our inbox and send off to Karen. So that's what everyone does, because that's really easy. But the alternative way to do exactly the same thing is, sorry, the thing I want hiding behind there. Everyone can see my screen still? I've sort of lost. Yep.
No.
You can't
Could only see you.
Oh, what a pity. Let me try that
Karen,
again.
I can only see you. Oh, there he is.
Okay. Okay, how are we going now?
Yep.
We've
Okay,
started.
sorry?
Okay, I can see. Yep.
Everyone can see that. So attaching to an email is one way. Attaching to a shared Google photo album. This is a shared Google photo album that Karen has just shared with me. She simply sent me a link. So I'm part of this album. If I wanted to add photos to this album, I simply click on Add to Album, select from computer. I go through that very same folder and I attach those three photos and click open, and they go to that particular folder. It takes a little while for them to upload, but it's still, from my point of view, it doesn't take much effort. There you go, 3 photos already uploaded, done. The good thing is they haven't come into Karen's inbox at all. She just accesses this album online and they just appear there. The good point, another benefit from the person that's actually adding these photos is, while they're in there, they can actually look at all these groovy photos that other people have added and check the album out. So
you've got access through that from a link that she's emailed to you.
yeah, so all Karen's done is shared this photo album with me. I get a link, accept it. It's like takes a matter of seconds. And then I'm part of this photo album. And as you can see, and my point here is, it's just as easy to add our photos to this album this way than it is to attach them to an email, or even easier. But the difference is people know how to, they've always attached things to emails, so that's what they're used to. It's not necessarily easier, it's a matter of education, and that's exactly what I'm here for, is to educate you people and then you guys to educate the people you deal with, and over time that'll happen, and it's just making people aware of what's easiest. And my suggestion would be to Karen, which is a scary thing for some people, is don't give them the option to email them to you, and that becomes forced education. And if they're, you know, if they really want to participate, then they'll click on the link. I actually made up a quick screen share video showing them how to do it, which was 1 minute long, I think, Karen. And Karen sent that off as instructions. So
I actually, most of my followers are through Facebook, so I didn't, I couldn't email everybody, so I put the link up on Facebook and everybody with the instructions, and then that's how people got in touch with me. But I did give them the option of emailing, because I wasn't sure if people would have Google accounts or anything. But anyway, we got some good photographs of Shantique.
Yeah, and it all worked out.
So the people on the other end, do they have to have a Google account or not?
There is an option for them, I think, to add. Oh, I have to check that. To answer your question, really, and the stats are that most people have a Google account. If they don't have a Google account, it takes a matter of seconds to sign up for an absolutely free one. And it does get to the point of you can't do things for everybody. You can't cater to everybody, but if you're catering to the majority, and I can guarantee you most people have a Google account. Whether they use it or not is marginal, but if you're sending clear instructions, click this link, sign in with your Google account and do this, then like I say, you'll get most people.
Yeah, I've shared lots of things with people that don't have Google accounts, and there is an option when you're sharing it that you can actually just tick a box at anyone with this link.
Yeah.
You can see that. So, and I haven't had any problems at all. So I would love to say to all of you that, coming from a marketing perspective or a supplier perspective, having access to online photos is absolutely crucial. So I often am trying to meet deadlines for my clients, and I have to fit in an image, or I have to put in some picture, or even might be just a logo or text or something that that clients want, and I have to meet a deadline with a newspaper or with whatever I'm doing at the time, even like digitally if I'm trying to do a digital display ad or something, and as Karen was saying earlier, if I was to receive all of those things by email, not only would I be in my emails all the time rather than on all the other systems that I need to be on, which would mean that the work wouldn't get done and I'd probably miss those deadlines, but also, it's pretty much instant, as you've just seen. And it just means that, and I can actually also, with a lot of the systems, you can actually see if people have actually uploaded or accessed those files.
Yeah.
As well. So, if I'm needing clients to, to be able to review a change or to, to proof a document for me, or to, sign something off, I can do that instantly through a link and I can see if they've accessed or not, which means that they can access it from, from whatever device they're on as well, which means that they don't have to stop their business to continue with what, so I can continue. So it's really crucial if I can come from a supplier perspective, that online, having an online library, even for documents as well, but I know we're talking about photos at the moment, but it makes your life so much easier. There's nothing worse than someone like me going, come on, we've got this great opportunity, but we've got to meet a deadline and, can you stop what you're doing? Because you're the only one who has access to that.
I think it's industry. A lot of my work is around the marketing and communication area as well. And it's really like industry practice. You actually can't keep up, I don't think, if you're not set up these ways, if you need the images. But, the thing I've learned about it the most as well is that the quality of your images are at its best as well. We used to sacrifice so much quality in poor storage previously as well. So now being able to upload everything at full resolution is really the way to go.
And even email servers, like I've had times where email services have actually corrupted the files or corrupted the images.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And that's terrible when when you're
horrible.
trying to get something out and all of a sudden you're like, I need it again. Can you send it to me again quick? So yeah, you're right. It adds quality as well as ease for everybody. So
thanks, Mayo, for adding weight to that argument. Yes, definitely. And just further on that, the sharing and the Google account, Cheryl, you can share anything and allow people, as Mayo said, to access it without a Google account. The only thing they may need an account for is if you want them to add photos to it. But any photos you can share with anybody. They don't, and that's what I often do. Always tick the box that says share without them needing an account if they're photos that you're happy for them to just look at. So yes, you can do that and share any of your lovely photos with any of your family and friends just by sharing a link. So thank you. Has anyone got any other questions, suggestions, discussion around that?
Well, will you be? I've missed a little bit of that. Are you going to be putting this up on for us to look at it another time?
Sorry?
Are you recording this and you're going to be putting it?
Yes, I will record, which I should have said beforehand. I will record all these sessions and make them available. I won't be posting them, but I'll make them available to member and people, so you can review it and go through the discussions. And that's part of what I'm doing with working from anywhere, is making sure that we always build up these resources so that you people have access to go back and refer to these resources, rather than having a chat today and then trying to remember what happened in 3 weeks' time when you want to implement it. So everything we do will be stored and give you access to by sending you a link, of course. Okay, we are actually chewing through some time, so I might continue as long as no one else has got any other comments or suggestions around that. Happy to move on.
Andy, it's Beverly. I'm going to have to go. I've got another meeting. So
okay,
thank you very much. I'll catch up online once you've sent me the link of what else is happening.
Okay, thanks for joining us, Bev. I knew you were on a deadline too, and we're just about to more or less wrap this up anyway, so enjoy. I'll see you on Friday. You coming on Friday?
Yes, I am. Yep.
Okay. Friday
All
at the
right.
Tathra Hotel.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. So our next thing. I'm still sharing my screen.
Yep.
So we've had our discussion. I'm probably just going to finish with, are there any other questions around any bits of technology business, anything, any questions you have that you'd like to discuss or have answers on?
None that I can think of just at the moment.
Okay. And happy for you to, after this session to when you're out and about during the next month or so, to, if you do have questions, A, post them on the Facebook group, or B, save them up and send them to me so we can discuss them here. Because this is a really good forum, and I'm really happy with how it's worked out today. And this is the whole idea, is actually collaborating, discussing together these sorts of things. Someone might bring up something or some point of discussion that I haven't thought of or you hadn't thought of. So that's what the value is in collaborating and doing this as a group. Are there any membership feedback or suggestions? How's everyone going with what we're doing so far? It's still very, very early in the piece. It's only sort of 1 month out. I'm still making it up as I go. Well, not really. I do have plans, but I'm changing as I go. But has anyone got any feedback on how things are going so far, or suggestions?
Well, I'm still working my way through the last pass. Yeah, that's what it's called. Just personally for me, it's just a busy time, so I'll probably be some weeks behind everyone. But no, I love the little videos that you put together, and they're available at any time. It's really good to go back at your own pace and do it.
Yeah, and that's how I did. Yeah, this isn't. This is, for most people, a transition, and everyone's at various levels anyway. So there's no time concerns here. It's all to be done in your own time and available when at a time that you want to do it. So there's no time frame.
Yeah, I'm loving the easy access to it, but I do recognise, because I don't enjoy the tech side of things, as you well know, Andy, is that I am going to allocate X amount of hours per week to do it. Otherwise, I know that I will just let it slip back again, because everything really is making a huge difference for me. And even after this discussion on the photos today, I think it's all a matter of focus. I know that I have to spend 2 hours a week filing, deleting, tagging and organising my photos, because they are incredibly valuable to my business, and I really need to allocate that time to it to make it happen. So this probably is just helping me focus, which is what I really appreciate. I'm not going to spend my whole life on this sort of thing, but I do recognise now how much easier it can make my life if I put some effort in with the right tools at the right time.
Fantastic. Any more? Anyone else? Anyone else is happy? At any time, please fire me suggestions. It's your group as well as mine. So please feel free to make suggestions at any time. So what's next? Well, nearly Christmas at this stage. But other than that, I do have a next Working From Anywhere live webinar coming up on Wednesday, the 13th of December. And that's on Calendly, which is an online scheduling tool, which is really handy. May not be handy for everybody, but many people will have really good use for this. So that's Calendly. Our next group mentoring video call was set down because I'm going to have it at on the last Wednesday of each month, which is the 27th of December. We will not, of course, be having that one. Everyone will be Christmas spiriting by then, so the next one's set down for the 31st of January. So it gives everyone a time to have some break over Christmas. Other than that, thank you, everybody. Our first group mentoring. Really, really happy with that you guys have all decided to come along. I think the discussion was really healthy, really good. It's also the first step in getting to know each other a bit better. So thank you very much. And that's about it. Carpe diem. Au revoir.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you later, everybody. Have a good
Andy says goodbye too.
Yeah.